Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really critical legal update for anyone doing business in the UAE. We're talking about the brand new law on anti-money laundering, or AML, and countering terrorist financing. This is a big one, so let's get right into it. All right, let's dive right in. A huge legal shift is on the horizon for the UAE. The old 2018 law, it's being totally replaced by a much stricter framework. We're talking about Federal Decree Law number 10 of 2025. And you're going to want to circle this date on your calendar, October 14th, 2025. That is the day this new law goes live.
So what's actually changing here? Look, this is not just a minor tweak. We're talking about a complete overhaul. The new law introduces entirely new crimes, it broadens the definitions of old ones, and it casts a much wider net over the entire business community.
Okay, first up, there's a brand new criminal offense on the books called Proliferation financing. What is that? Well, it specifically targets any money, direct or indirect, that's going towards weapons of mass destruction or those dual-use goods that could be used to make them. This is a really big deal, and it brings the UAE's rules right up to speed with the highest international standards.
And you know, the law is finally catching up with technology, and in a big way. The definitions are now expanded to explicitly cover things like digital systems, virtual assets, think crypto, and even encryption. Basically, this closes a bunch of old loopholes and sends a clear message: the digital economy is absolutely under the microscope now. Now, this next one is absolutely crucial for every single business out there. Tax evasion is now officially a predicate crime. So what on earth does that mean? It means a simple tax evasion case can now be the trigger, the starting point for a full-blown money laundering investigation. The stakes have just been raised, dramatically. Okay, so we've got new rules, but it's not just about what's written down. The enforcement is getting way tougher, and you know what? The consequences for getting this wrong, they've become incredibly severe. Seriously, the stakes have never been higher. This new framework isn't just some legal document. It's a fundamental shift in the government's entire approach. We are entering a new era of enforcement, one with a much lower tolerance for mistakes or gray areas in your compliance programs. And just to put that financial risk into perspective, fines for companies can now hit a staggering 100 million dirhams. I mean, think about that. That's a number that can absolutely cripple even a really large organization. On top of that, it's actually become easier for authorities to prosecute these offenses. The burden of proof, it's been lowered. Before, prosecutors needed to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Not anymore. Now, sufficient or circumstantial evidence can be enough to get a conviction. That is a massive change. And the Financial Intelligence Unit, the FIU, has been given some serious new teeth. We're talking about the power to freeze funds for up to 30 days and suspend transactions for up to 10 days. And get this, often without needing to get a court order first. This gives them the ability to act fast and decisively when they suspect something's up. So you might be asking, who exactly needs to worry about this? Well, the law dramatically expands the list of what are called designated non-financial businesses and professions, or DNFBPs for short. If your business is on this list, listen up. You are now squarely under this regulatory umbrella. We're talking about real estate agents, dealers in precious metals and stones, auditors, lawyers, corporate service providers, and of course, the crypto world, virtual asset service providers. If that's you, you are officially on the front line of AML compliance. And here's a point that should get everyone's attention. The liability for this stuff now goes straight to the top. The law is crystal clear. Board members and senior management are now personally and directly on the hook for bad AML controls, or for tipping off a suspect about an investigation. The whole "I didn't know" defense, yeah, that's not going to fly anymore. Okay, so that's a lot to take in. The big question is, what do you need to do right now to get ready? Because let me tell you, this isn't something you can put off until the last minute. Let's walk through an immediate action plan. All right, here are the 4 big things your organization needs to tackle like yesterday. Number 1, update your entire risk framework. You have to include these new offenses like proliferation financing and tax evasion. Number 2, verify ownership and funds. You need rock-solid documented checks on who your ultimate beneficial owners are and where their money is coming from. 3, train your senior leadership. Make sure they understand they are now personally liable. And 4, the golden rule. Document absolutely everything. Now, think of this next part as a kind of mini checklist.
not just for you, but for your board and your auditors. See, it's not enough to just do all this stuff. You have to be able to prove you're doing it. And that means having the evidence on hand, a maintained register of your ultimate beneficial owners, or UBOs, documented risk assessments, and board minutes that clearly show you're taking this seriously at the highest level. And for those of you in those high-risk sectors we talked about, the rules get even more specific. If you're in real estate, you've got to be doing enhanced due diligence, especially for non-residents and high-value clients. That's non-negotiable now. Dealing in jewelry or precious metals, your internal policies have to reflect the FIU's new powers to freeze assets. And if you're involved in any cross-border transactions, there are new disclosure duties for moving currency and precious metals.
So if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. AML compliance is no longer just a legal checkbox or some administrative task. It is now a core material business risk. Getting this wrong doesn't just mean a fine. It could destroy your reputation and even cost you your license to operate in the UAE. And that leaves us with one final, direct question for every business leader and compliance officer out there. Look, the law has fundamentally changed. It's tougher, it's broader, and the penalties are way more severe. The only question that really matters now is this: the law has changed. Have your controls?